Introduce a friend of mine. I've known her for many years, and her name is Makrina Morozowski. And she's our keynote speaker for today, so she'll be presenting a few things. But I wanted to share that Makrina is an athlete. She's very much in the sport, a strong advocate for the disabled community, and an adventurer as well. She just finished her master's degree in counseling psychology, and I was actually part of her study, which was about sexuality and disability, so you'll have to ask us more about that after. Makrina's been a part of the disabled community her whole life, and she lives with cerebral palsy. She's not only living with cerebral palsy, but she's a really active member of our community, someone that I look up to. So she just got back from a 10-day excursion on a Canadian Coast Guard ship, which was sailing down the west coast of Canada. So she'll tell you a little bit about that expedition and some of the insights gained from that and from her life experience with cerebral palsy so far. So please join me in welcoming Makrina.
Thank you for the kind introduction. The theme for the 25th year of United Nations celebrating persons with a disability is transforming towards a sustainable and resilient society. I'm first going to tell you a little bit about myself, the Canada Seamanship I was on, and use some examples to highlight how persons with disabilities should be involved within the decision-making process. Education plays an important role in understanding and learning, and genuine connectedness play a role in the development of community. I recently graduated from the City University of Seattle with a Master's of Counseling, and in 2014 graduated from the University of Lethbridge with a Bachelor's in Psychology. My career goal is to become a registered psychologist. Throughout the years, I have done a few different types of activities. In 2008, I raced with the Para-Alpine downhill ski team and played sledge hockey for a number of years. Recently, I tried axe throwing at a place called Battle in Calgary, and I experimented a little bit with how to do this. So I tried throwing the axes from my basketball wheelchair, tried standing, throwing them as well, and then actually standing without crutches. And it was using no crutches that actually made me hit more bullseyes. So that was cool. I have been a CrossFit athlete at Bedrock CrossFit for 2 full years now, and I have been able to notice the transferable skills that come out of this. I'm able to pick up my 3-year-old cousin, ski from the top of the mountain to the bottom, and the strength and the independence that come out of it is noticeable for me. The coaches there are incredible, and they want to work with those with different disabilities and abilities, and I enjoy working with them to try and figure out different modifications to make things work. I started playing wheelchair basketball about 5 years ago, and recently with the women's team, we won gold at the women's competition in Ontario. I like a good challenge, okay? And last year I tried to rock climb. Now I spent an hour trying to get over the first hold, and I was ready to call it quits. But then we had 2 other people that came to belay myself and the friend I was with. It took us over 2 hours for us to make it to the top, but we did, and we were both excited. Sometimes I even rappelled in 30 stories, raising money for Easter seals. Last summer, I accomplished the Canadian Mount Everest Expedition Trail in King Country. It's a small 2-kilometer loop. What I failed to do prior was to look at the elevation change. There was 122 meters within this 2K hike. We went up and down a mountain, literally. Definitely the views of the Kananaskis Lakes were remarkable, but that is definitely a hike that I won't forget. That's me as a baby. I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy when I was 4. Some disabilities, I'm sure a lot of us know this, are visible and some are not. But I think what's an important takeaway right off the bat is that we're not only defined by our disability, but there are other things that make each of us in this room who we are. Recently, I was a youth participant on the Canada C3 expedition. One of my hopes on the ship was to bring one of Canada 150's theme into practice, which was diversity and inclusion, and use the example through the lens through disability to highlight things, to have discussions. This expedition went all the way around Canada. It went coast to coast to coast. It started in Toronto, went up the east coast, through the Northwest Passage, and down the west coast. The leg that I was on was the 14th leg, and we sailed in the ship from Bella Bella to Campbell River, stopping at various places along the way. So when we think about decisions, it might seem like common sense that we are making a decision for someone, we are including them in the process. We were hiking along a place called Quay Camp, and I was getting to know my friend Jen quite well, and we were chatting about different things. She had worked on the ship, and she mentioned to me, if there's something that's happening that's related to your ability to maneuver the ship, get around the ship, that we're not really aware of, let us know so that we can have a conversation. So I thought, oh great, an opportunity to be able to have those conversations. So there was, the day before, we had to run through an abandoned ship drill. So this drill was in the event that we had to leave the ship. In our room, we had a life suit and a life jacket that we would have to bring up 2 flights of stairs and then get into them. And so when they did that the other day, they said, okay, 5 minutes, go do what you need to go do, we'll ring the bell, and everyone will have to go through this drill. So that happened, and I thought immediately, I better go check in with the staff to see if there's a way that we can figure this out. I mean, the flights of stairs were like ladders, and I wasn't too sure I was going to carry myself, my crutches, this life vest, this life jacket, up the stairs with 59 other people trying to do this drill as well. So I chatted with the staff, and they're like, oh, we've talked about it. We got your roommates bringing the stuff in. So at that moment, I was feeling 2 different things. One was I was thrilled that they were having these conversations and they were thinking about these things. The second thing, though, was I wasn't a part of that conversation, and it was going to directly impact me. So this started our conversation about pre-planning and thinking about how we can organize things and do things. As the trip went on, that became quite evident. So I think involving the persons with disabilities in decisions that are going to directly impact them is going to aid in that transformation towards a sustainable and resilient society for all. Education is key also, and it allows us to take what we know and what we have learned and do something about it. One evening on the ship, I facilitated a dinner with a disability night. Participants on the ship were allowed to choose whether they could see, whether they could hear, whether they could speak, whether they were only able to say a few words. Sometimes we even take the expedition leader's hands so that he could move a bit as well. So the purpose of this was just to highlight a little bit of what the experience might be. After we talked about it as a group, and I think what was interesting was the discussion that came out of it. They talked about the perception changes depending on if the disability was visible or not. Some even shared that it was hard to communicate. They knew what they wanted to say, but they weren't able to elaborate it out. Some used adaptations. In the room where we ate was a chalkboard around the entire room. Some used that to communicate, so some found ways. Some felt like they were backing away from the conversations because they knew that they wanted to talk about the day's activities and what they learned in the conversations they had, but they felt like they weren't able to. One of the other keys that came out of this discussion, and there were multiple learning points along the entire expedition, was the person-first language, so person before the disability. The concept of help was also discussed, and what came out of it was always ask first, do you need help, can I help? And then the second follow-up question is always how, always asking how. Sometimes though these learning moments happen at alternative times. It wasn't until the last night that I had one of the participants come up to me and she apologized for not participating in the Dinner with a Disability event experience. And I was like, oh, it's a challenge by choice. It was her choice. But she came up with a realization without participating. She shared that you can't choose what disability impacts you, let alone when it's going to. So I think some strong realization is that sometimes you don't have to participate to learn something from it. So I think taking time to ask these questions, to learn, is going to help aid in that transformation towards a sustainable and resilient society for all. I believe that learning comes from community. This is the incredible community, my C3 family, my late 14 folks, that I was a part of for the expedition. Authentic connections developed throughout, some on the way to Belleville and some later on. So these genuine connections can form in so many different places, at home, at work, in your communities, on your sports teams, in your day-to-day activities. And these can allow and support a sense of belonging. So support comes from connection and community. Sometimes on this trip I used my wheelchair in times where we thought the places we were going to visit and explore were a little bit more accessible. But we had all members of the team I was a part of help me in different ways. Some carried the chair on and off the ship, some gave me a hand, some helped with my crutch. There were so many different ways that people supported, and it was incredible to be part of a community that developed in under 24 hours. There was also a system set in place to get on and off the ship, onto the Zodiac. Sometimes we couldn't dock our big ship in places, so we'd have to get onto a smaller boat to get where we needed to go. And the system included holding each other's hands, stepping one foot onto the platform, to the boat, to the step, onto the bottom. And I just thought it wasn't going to work so well. But again, that community and that conversation and that pre-planning were so key. I had to chat with the individuals in the boat along with the expedition crew just to make sure and pre-plan, okay, we're going to do this, and this is going to happen. And then sometimes it changed, but we were successful each time. One day, my wheelchair tire popped. We were heading from center to the boat, and it popped. And so I was like, we are in the middle of nowhere, down the west coast. I don't know what we're going to do, but didn't need the wheelchair, so it wasn't worrying me in any way. But a few days went by, and I was just wondering where it was and if it was going, if it was fixed or what the process of that was. And I found out that some co-participants that knew how to adapt things in different environments, and some had some accessibility awareness. They were in it, patching the tube with Zodiac boat patches and pumping the tire up so that I could use it in the airport while we were heading home. Today, the wheel is still rolling well. So I met these two ladies on the first day traveling to Belleville. I learned that they work for an organization called Power to Be out in Victoria, and they believe that Everyone should be able to access the environment. ACE is an acronym that they introduced me to, which is part of the Power to Use philosophy. A stands for accept all abilities, C stands for challenge yourself, and E stands for encourage others. I think if we can incorporate ACE, accepting all abilities, challenging yourself, and encouraging others, along with involving them in the decision-making process, educating, learning, and creating that sense of community, I believe that we can support the transformation towards a sustainable and resilient society for all. Thank you.